Hello guys, it's Glurmit here, and today we have a fun video planned. What we're going to be doing is going over the First Order faction with focus on Supreme Leader Kylo Ren and the teams you can use, so the variations, and how you should be modding that team. Modmit is back, baby! Okay guys, so in terms of the account, this is my smaller account, this isn't my main. Supreme Leader Kylo Ren is obviously a very good Galactic Legend, one of the best in the game. Offensively, he beats almost everything, but modding does matter. So typically, we're going to have 3 different variations for 5v5, so for general play. We are going to have Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, Crew. We are also going to be having Hux in there. We're going to be having Stormtrooper and Sift Trooper. This is one of the variations, which is typically the double tank variation. Then we're going to be having the second variation, and that is going to be the following. It is going to be Kylo, Crew, Hux, and then we're going to have Sift Trooper, and then we're going to have Officer, which is another really nice one, and this is obviously not double tank. Then we have one more. There is another lineup afterwards, but it's not a first order only lineup, and this one is going to be SLKR, and then we're going to use Stormtrooper, Hux, Phasma, and Officer, and this is what I'm running at the moment. And this is the no crew lineup. And then we have the non-first order lineups, and they are going to be the following. Now guys, I just want to jump in and say, if you want to see any specific modding or anything like that, the video is time coded if you only want to see one of the teams and how to mod it, because it does change slightly depending on the one you're going to be running. So then we have the last one, which honestly guys, you're basically going to be running SLKR with Night Sisters. Now there's kind of 2 options here. You can run Daka, Zombie, some people run Merrin, and then some people also run Tambor as well, which is another option you have to run, for example. Now in terms of modding, guys, I'm not going to bother showing you this one, I just wanted to talk about it for the purpose of the video. We're going to go through the first order only ones today. So in terms of the double tank, the modding is a little bit specific. So in terms of the team, we have SLKR, we have Crew, we have Hux, we have Stormtrooper, and we have Sift Trooper. Now Kylo, typically there's 2 schools of thought here. The first is to make him very, very fast. I think my Kylo is 558. Which honestly, if you're outside of Kyber, this is perfectly fine. The other option is to go very high offense, but then it's obviously a little bit lower. Now, the idea behind both schools of thought is if you go very fast, he's going to take more turns. If he takes more turns, he ramps mastery quicker, resulting in more offense. Now, if you want to go down the other route here, then you're going to be going very high offense, which means you take less turns, but because you already start with high offense, when you start to ramp, your mastery, you can see, is a crit chance, crit damage, and damage, so your offense is going to go even higher and higher and higher. So those are the 2 options you have. I have run both. At the moment, I prefer a speed set, because I think there's other characters that benefit more from an offense set, but both can work. In terms of primaries, you're going to want either a speed on the arrow or offense on the arrow. On the triangle, you're going to want offense or crit damage. I'm more of a fan of offense because I just think offense is a little bit better with scaling. Then we have offense on the cross. Now I know some people will run health so that he stays alive more, but honestly I'm just a fan of offense. Also guys, don't be afraid to have some potency secondaries on him, because that buff immunity on the basic is important to land. Obviously the stun is unresisted, but his basic does put buff immunity, and that can change some counters if you get lucky. Then we have health on the circle. I'm a big fan of going for health on him over protection. Obviously you can't really change the diamond much, and the square is in the same position, but this is how I typically mod my Kylo. Decent amount of potency, decent amount of offense, and that's where we go. Now in terms of relic levels, you're looking at relic 7, 8, or 9. Honestly, I would say relic 8 is where you should aim to take him. My main account has him relic 9. This account will one day have him relic 9. He's a good relic 9, guys. But honestly, relic 8 is where you want to take him for now. So then moving on, we have Kylo Ren Unmasked. And as you can see, I'm still 6-dotting him on this account. Typically what you want to do with crew, especially in double tank and just general lineups, is you're going to want to run him with a health set, 2 of them, and 1 defense set. Now in terms of the primaries, you're going to want health primaries, guys. Now crew doesn't necessarily need speed, but it isn't a bad thing to have. The potency is kind of redundant here, it doesn't matter too much. Tenacity can be quite nice. Just, I know that crew is dispelling when he swipes, not crew, SLKR, but it's just nice to have a bit of tenacity to stop buff immunity or stuns early on. But health is really what you're looking at, health and defense, and bonus points if you can get a health primary arrow. Supreme Leader Kylo Ren is giving a decent amount of speed in the lead, so it doesn't really matter too much with regards to what you do there. You're aiming for around about 90 to 100k health. R7, R8, guys. The R9 is for those of you who want to go crazy, but R8 is really good. That's what he's going to be on my account. As you guys can see, I actually do have an R8 being prepped. It is going to go on crew for fleets. He is a very good R8. But honestly, guys, I just prefer the other versions where crew isn't in the team, just because if you're later game, crew is so good with Seer. And that's why I like running the last lineup we're going to be talking about later on. But this is how you mod crew. Health and defense. Next we have General Hux. Now Hux does require specific modding. I have not done that here. Now I'll explain why. You're going to want to run speed and tenacity, and that is very, very important. And the reason being, guys, if we look at Hux's unique, Hux starts with advantage for 2 turns at the start of each encounter. If the allied leader's first order, all first order allies also gain advantage, and if all allies are first order, enemies cannot gain bonus turn meter while Hux has advantage. For this reason alone, you want Hux to be high tenacity so that he doesn't have his advantage prevented. Because if he does, you're not going to be preventing them from gaining bonus turn meter, and the team falls apart really, really quickly. There are quite a few characters in here that can either dispel, give buff immunity, and do all of these annoying things. So you need him to have high tenacity. Now, if you guys are wondering why I'm running a crit chance set, it's because I'm just trying to make him fast enough for certain counters. I do have a tenacity cross, so you guys are going to see I'm still at 150%. It would be a lot better if I had a tenacity set, but obviously you want to go for a tenacity set. I'm not at the moment, because I'm not at a point where it matters too much. This account is really low down in Grand Arena because I keep on missing Grand Arenas on it. But in general, you're going to want to run speed and tenacity. But I've obviously gone fast mods because he's 300 speed. Down the line I will change this, but right now I don't have the tenacity mod spare. Now, when you're modding Hux without officer, Hux needs to be incredibly fast because he is your lever in the team. He's the one that's going to make Kylo take more turns. Now, if you are not running Hux in the team, if you are running officer in the team, sorry guys, I'm getting my words muddled today. Let me have a sip of coffee and see if that fixes it. It did. But if you're going to run officer in the team, then you need to make sure officer is quicker than Hux, and Hux doesn't need to be as quick, okay? But I like to have Hux decently fast. Normally around about 280, 290 speed is the sweet spot here. As you can see, I've got him 300. That is a little bit excessive, but it works for me. Like I said, tenacity is the way to go. In terms of primaries, you're going to be looking at speed on the arrow. Bonus points if you have tenacity secondaries. Again, I've gone for health here. We've got tenacity on the cross. We have just protection. I'm just going for speed here. Again, tenacity secondaries are really nice. Potency is kind of mid, but they aren't the best mods there in terms of speed, but other than that, not too hot. So guys, moving on to the next character, we have First Order Stormtrooper. Again, I like to go health and defense on this guy because he needs to stay alive, and the longer he stays alive, the more opportunities you have to attack out of turn. Now, this is really, really nice against Jabba, and I've been doing it in recent streams, where you don't run crew, you run Stormtrooper, because Stormtrooper's unique gives him an opportunity to counter. He has 65% counter chance, and whenever he uses an ability, he has a 50% chance to call a random assist. Now, this assist bypasses Leia's deadly bluff. Okay, so you can still have Kylo attacking out of turn even before the 3 turns have been taken, which is really, really nice. Now, in terms of modding, it's just very, very high protection. Don't worry too much about the speed. We're going to be looking at protection primaries, protection secondaries, and then that's around about it. And you guys can see that's kind of how we'll be modding. You're looking for those 7, 8, 9% protection secondaries on the cross and the diamond, and we're looking for the very high 2000, 3000 protection on the secondary. Like I said, speed doesn't matter too much. Protection is where it's at. And then we have Sift Trooper. Now, Sift Trooper has 2 or 3 ways of modding. Now, you can see that I don't have a full set here. There is a reason for that. Now, in terms of how I like to mod Sift Trooper, I typically like to go for as high health as possible, which, as you can see, I'm at 103,000. Now, some of you will be wondering, why do I go for very high health? If you go up against someone who's using JKR, JKL to beat your Kylo, the Sift Trooper staying alive can be the difference between a win and a loss. Because typically they have to deal with Hux and then they have to deal with Sift Trooper. And if Sift Trooper is very healthy, he's not going to be dying straight away. And if he gets those bonus turns and his Vengeance Blast off, it can absolutely just slay the counter. Now, if you guys are wondering why I got these 2 mods here, honestly, it's just because I've not 6-dotted the mods I necessarily want yet. This was a mistake. This was a long time ago. So I'm just running this because I can. This one here I'm running just for the health percent. I will be running a full health set, but I just thought I would rather use the other health mod somewhere else for now. I'll change it. When this one gets changed, I'll change this one. But you want to go as high health as possible. Now, the other school of thought is you're going to go crit damage, because obviously, or offense. Those are the 2 other options you can go, because Sift Trooper is going to be taking so many turns. Now, the last option you have, which can work in some circumstances, would actually be a very, very fast set. Now, this is more if you're someone who's running Sift Trooper with First Order TIE Pilot, or if you're running Sift Trooper with Phasma Omicron, because in those situations, having advantage and gaining advantage basically converts to turn meter and speed and whatnot. So by having Sift Trooper very, very fast, he's actually going to be boosting your team and sending it to the next level. So that's just something to look out for. But honestly, this is not necessarily a video about that. We're looking at Supreme Leader Kylo Ren here. And that is typically how I mod the first Kylo lineup. Now, guys, for the second one, it's going to be exactly the same, except Officer is introduced, and Officer is modded speed and potency. Now, guys, if you're wondering why I got speed and health, it's because I have this absolute gem. 30% potency, 29 speed. Lovely. So I decided to go for a health set here. But you don't have to do that, guys. It's completely up to you. Potency secondaries are amazing. And make sure he is faster than Hux. Because if he goes before Hux, you're going to pass the turn to Kylo. Kylo's going to swipe. Hux is going to pass the turn to Kylo. Kylo's going to swipe. It's the quickest way to ult, and it really starts your ramping. So that's how I would mod. Obviously, if you have the potency set, you'll be looking at 80 to 90%. If you're wondering why potency is important, the pinning shot can remove 50% turn meter. If any turn meter is removed, each ally gains 15% turn meter. So it's just really, really nice to have that. It also kind of converts First Order Officer into a little bit of a lever for the team. Like I said, guys, if you run this variant, you can actually kind of drop Hux's speed a little bit. I've got them both very fast because Kylo is the best team on this account, so it makes sense to have them modded the best. In terms of relic levels, like I said, Kylo relic 8, 9 or 7, crew relic 7 or 8, Hux I would say relic 6 is the aim, Sift Trooper anywhere up to relic 7, he's a Leviathan requirement, he's also a very good character. First Order Officer, I'm a fan of R8, but if you want to go to R7, that's perfectly fine. R5 is also okay. Just bear in mind, it means you can use them in TV. I will be taking up to R8 on this account. And then the last team, I'm going to try and wrap it up, guys, because the video has been going on for a while, which if you are enjoying it, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It does help the channel a bunch. We then have the no crew variant. And this is the one I'm running because, honestly, for me, crew is with Seer long term. I understand some of you may not have Seers, so you're still going to be running these ones. But if you aren't in that position, you can run this. And Phasma is low-key goated in the 5th. I didn't even realize this until I started running it recently. So everyone is the same modding, except Phasma is in here. And what you're going to be doing is modding her for speed and potency. She is a relatively slow character, as you can see. I'm 115 and I'm only 25, 256 speed. But she is here because of this, guys. She has the turn meter gain on her special. She also has speed down on her special here, and her basic is inflicting defense down. Which is really, really nice. Unfortunately, she's an older character, so she doesn't have a unique, which kind of sucks. But in terms of her abilities, it's just really nice, especially if you're going up against Jabbers, you're going up against Rays and all of that. I know that Ray, you give her mastery, but it still works pretty nicely. The reason being, Phasma gives the extra turn. So Kylo will go, he will stun, Officer will pass the turn, Kylo will swipe, and then Hux will pass the turn, Kylo will swipe. And then Phasma goes, and then Phasma just juices turn meter, and then you go again, and you can either re-stun or you can basic. And it works really, really well. Like I said, guys, the defense down on the basic's really nice, and the speed down's really nice. Like I said, you're going to be aiming for high potency, you're going to be aiming for decent speed. I would mod them well, guys, because if you've got Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, this is just unfortunately the best potency speed I've got left over. But if you're going to be using them, like you can see, guys, I've actually got crit chance, because you want to be critting, as you guys saw, because when you crit, you're going to be giving the defense down, right? Now, I know that Kylo does give advantage, but there are some situations where you don't have it, more so when you use Phasma without Kylo. Sometimes it does happen, but either way, I just like to have it there just to be safe. But that's generally how I like to mod them. You want to mod Phasma for fast, decent speed, decent potency. Remember, in TW she's getting 100 speed, so she's technically 356. But yeah, that's just how I mod Kylo. Sorry I didn't include the other variants. I wanted to keep this more first order focused. Let me know down in the comments, guys, what team would you like to see how to mod next? I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. My name is Glurmit, and as always, guys, have a glurming day.